All right, we're after dark. Podcasts are all done. One audio only, one video and audio. And then obviously this is only going to show up on YouTube. But we get Anthony Prohaska here. Anthony, you went to Forbidden Door. You're going to have to... Like, where were you sitting for this? And did you go for, like... Wasn't Dynamite and Collision there? Did
Dynamite
you do that?
was Chicago. Collision was in Toronto the night before. We considered it. I had a buddy of mine came into town, stay with me for a little bit. We considered going to Collision Saturday night. We didn't. We went to a Blue Jays game because we're baseball fans. Shut up, Drew. Fuck you. Baseball's good. And then we're just wiped from like everything that happened the day. Watch Collision.
Because it's so exhausting watching other dudes run around.
That's not what the exhausting piece was.
Well, no one scores runs.
That's not what the exhausting piece was. First and foremost. Second and foremost, fuck you. Third, we didn't go to Collision on Saturday night. Went to Forbidden Door. Good seats. Not on the floor. I don't like floor seats. 100 level, directly in line with the entrance, so like looking straight down the barrel, hard cam to the left, looking down at the ring and into the entrance. Seats were great. Show was great. One of the probably the best match I've ever seen in person all time between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay, which is a topic I'm sure everyone is interested to hear me talk about.
Now, Chris, here's what I'll say.
Well, if you look to your in
right.
with the probably the bottom tickets over there.
That's right.
Armageddon 2000.
That's one of the first things. The first time I ever did a live in-person podcast with you guys at your old place. You showed me those tickets.
I went on the floor, but we were behind the announcers, behind JR and Lawler.
Yeah, that's right.
We were like 7 rows back. So
nice.
I didn't get the best view of Rikishi falling.
And see, that's what I want to be able to see. And when you're at the same level as everyone, it can corrupt your view.
Okay, I'm in. All right, you dickheads have sucked me into a wrestling conversation. We're about to have it.
Oh, boy.
Why the fuck would anyone want to sit ringside? You can't see what's going on. It's like the people at a hockey game who sit right on the glass. You can't see the fucking game.
If you got to sit front row. Have to be front.
What I would rather do is I would rather sit, Chris, my favorite seats in the entire house, at a Sabres game.
Yeah.
There's section 127. There's section, I think it's 115. They're on opposite sides of the stadium from each other. High corner, top row. I want to sit there because I have the wall at my back. And at the same time, what I can see is everything. I'm pitching. Chris, why do you think we've never moved our seats? We've had seniority now for going on 13 seasons of NFL football. We could have moved our seats at any point. They always do that, like the relocation process. I have never thought about moving where our seats are. Because when you're on watching TV on Sundays, watching a football game, you're watching the sideline camera, and that's the view. We are fortunate enough to get to watch a million games from the 200 level right down the hash marks. We get the all-22 film of every single game as it's happening live.
It's beautiful.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And so with that in mind, I don't want to bail on it. I need good sight lines or else I'm not going to watch that thing live. The problem is, okay, so first of all, your baseball game. There is nowhere you can sit except for behind the pitcher or behind the catcher that makes me feel like I'm in the game. If I can't get tickets behind the catcher because I feel like that's where everything happens. Now, maybe if I'm in the nosebleeds, I can see some of the shifts and stuff, but I don't give a shit about any of that. What I care about is what's happening at the plate. That's the only thing as a lay fan that, as a casual fan of people who hit a baseball,
as a peasant,
I have to be right there. And if I'm not, then I don't give a shit about being there.
I rotate where, like, I'll sit in a baseball game, and this past Saturday, first of all, the Rogers Center where the Blue Jays play, this is my first time ever going there. A beautiful stadium. I was super impressed with like the layout and also how many fans there were there for a Saturday game against the Oakland A's. There was like 30-something, 40,000-something people. I was ridiculously impressed.
It's funny that the Blue Jays fans show out for the A's.
They went, and the fans were like crazy into it. But we sat first baseline, right even line with first base, 5 rows up. The seats were absolutely beautiful. I've sat behind home plate at different games. I lived in New York City for 9 years and went to God knows how many Yankee games, even though I hate the Yankees. And just, I like to sample different pieces, but to your point, like especially if you want to see like the balls and strikes and you want to see everything, like it's, even from our vantage point, like you're watching and you can see where the pitch goes into a batter from, top down, but I can't see really how far is it inside, how far is it outside.
Yeah.
So those little different pieces. But yeah, it was. I see your point there to a degree.
So I like sitting behind the net for hockey. As opposed to, because I have to be in the lower bowl.
Okay.
And I like behind the net because then you get to see all the way down the ice. So if you're inside the blue line on the side, you can't see the opposite corner that you're in.
If I'm a hockey or a football game, I want to be what your seats are. I want to be midline. Give me like center ice seats, hundreds or 200s.
I don't care where I gotta go. I need to see it because I want to be able to see the whole thing unfold.
If I'm a football game, give me between the 40s, something like that, so I can see that.
I get to watch.
Point.
Well, here's the thing I love about where my seats are. I get to watch every play unfold, so I almost know off the snap when a bad play happens. Like when a crisis is unfolding right in front of me. I know where it started, how it started, who did it. My eyes are immediately, because I played line, is just glued to the line of scrimmage, the quarterback, the defensive line, the front seven. Like, that's where my eyes are. And then, like, there are times where you're looking and you go, like, but you look pre-snap and you go, oh, that wide receiver's wide. Or, like, or that matchup, you go, oh, fuck, he's going to come open.
Oh, that's not good.
He's going to come open if that cornerback doesn't cheat up. And then he doesn't, and the guy gets right open and takes it for 10, and you go, fuck.
Yeah.
That was preventable. Well, I like that about where our seats are because you get to watch the pre-snap formation and you go, oh shit, the safeties are too wide, or this is. But also, it's about knowing and watching crisis unfold and seeing how people react to it. So that brings me to kind of the thesis of tonight's show. The Airbnb market is fucking crashing. and it's crashing quickly. There's a whole thread that I've retweeted on Twitter.
The one you sent to me in a DM.
Yeah. Did you read through that?
Yeah.
How fun is that?
I wasn't expecting. I saw I had a message. I was not expecting that to be the message when I opened it up.
He's like, oh, these guys are drunks. What do they ever talk about? Except for like, hey, can you come pod? And also, hey, here's a funny thing.
But you know the inside. I mean, you guys both know the inside and out of my. I mean, we joke about it all the time. Like at last year at this time, Thursday night. I mean, a multitude of nights, but Thursday night was my and my wife's, house hunting night, and we did God knows how many house searches and open houses and all these things, and the market was just. I don't know. Everybody's got cartel money and was paying $120,000 over asking in all cash, and yeah, it's an interesting time.
So I'll tell you what. I'll let you in on a little inside baseball. So I got a guy who used to do inspections until he found out that it was kind of a scam.
Okay.
But he had his license for a little while, and he's a contractor.
Okay.
So what we did was we booked viewings of our house.
Oh, no.
I just brought this guy.
I see where it's
we
coming.
kind of gave this thing an over. So then when we submitted our offer, I didn't have to. I could waive the inspection because I looked at the things I wanted to look at. They don't know that.
Nice.
They don't know that.
You're smart.
Now these are the. I'm just trying to help you.
I appreciate you.
Give you these are some of the angles.
You're a kind soul.
But also, then you look at this, guys. One of the things that led to this housing crisis, like, hey, there's too few homes, is this buying spree everyone went on and turned them into fucking Airbnbs and rentals. It's crazy how this happened. And right now I'm looking at this. Revenues are down 50% in cities like Phoenix, Austin, Texas. Look at this. Top 10 cities: Myrtle Beach, San Antonio, Asheville, Nashville, Tennessee, Denver, the Seattle.
Yeah, big time cities.
Big cities. And the problem is that those cities have so many people, is that they can absorb that hit, right? Like, hey, let's say that you have 8,000 houses that all of a sudden are either going into foreclosure or they go back. Your city's so big you can absorb that hit. Here in Buffalo, there are people who bought things up specifically to turn them into Airbnbs. And the numbers on this bubble are staggering. You read through that thread.
Yeah.
It's guys, go check it out at Rockpile Report on our Twitter. Here's the thing about Airbnb. It started off as a nice thing. It was a nice idea. But like all things, it eventually
led to vampires.
Well, yes.
Arson.
Well, hopefully it leads to arson. Here's the thing. I remember when our friend Justin Yulberg flew into town to watch the Patriots playoff game.
Yeah.
So he flies in, he's staying at an Airbnb in Cheektowaga. These guys had just rented out a part of their house as like an Airbnb, like an extension they built onto it.
Okay.
There's no amenities, there's no toiletries, there's no nothing. He ended up having to, like, I gave him, my mother every year for Christmas gives us these, like, pre-packaged, like, men's Dove soap, like, thing. I go, Mom, I have a home. I don't travel much. Like,
I go shopping.
who is this for? But
I
she
have
goes,
to get all
"I don't
mine
know."
on the internet.
She goes, I don't know. I just wanted you to have something that you could open. And I go, I don't give a fuck.
I don't need soap.
But I take him and I stuff him in the closet. Well,
Smart.
then Yulberg comes over and goes, hey, I went into this Airbnb and I had to shower with hand soap today. I was like, buddy, do I have something for you?
Do I have a treat for you?
Do I have a treat for you? I have a whole closet. full of
Fortune
these.
has smiled upon you on
He's
this
like-
day.
He's like, what the fuck? Where do you get this? I go, listen, don't thank me. Thank Mama Gear.
Don't ask questions.
She don't know any better.
Take the soap.
Take the soap.
That's
soap,
brutal.
shampoo, body scrub, the whole nine in a
Everything you
package.
needed.
The idea is that a lot of these people either A, don't know what they're doing,
The Airbnb owners.
the Airbnb owners, or they know what they're doing and they're trying, like they got greedy. Like Mark Cuban accused the NFL of. Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Airbnb owners got hoggish. Because here's the problem. If you look at the average price of an Airbnb right now,
Sounds like WCW 97.
yes!
We just get all the talent.
God damn it!
Look how excited you got.
You always bring it back to wrestling, but you are right with your fucking...
Straight to the mid card, baby.
Yeah.
I hate it, but I love it.
Yes.
Because this
We're
is
going to
what
go
happened.
get Ted DiBiase, Rick Rude, and 1, 2, 3 Kid.
I like where we're going with this.
And this is the problem, is that that's what happened with Airbnb owners. Coming, like, out of the pandemic, you know you've been house shopping for a long time. And I hate rubbing that in. Like, I hate feeling like I'm rubbing that in.
No, it's fair. I love we love our apartment, but yeah, it's a bitch.
You guys are trying to house shop, and you've watched what the market's done over the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
It's not been great.
And then I watch people who friends of ours who bought houses last year and now are in potentially struggling situations because they was thought, well, the interest rates will go down. It's like, no.
No, the interest rates aren't going
No,
down.
no, no. Have you seen who's in the White House?
God, see, here comes conservative.
He just
Chris.
keeps throwing these, like,
No,
zingers, like, throughout the whole
reality
night.
is that he should be producing a podcast for the Daily. Well, what is it? The Daily Wire.
Yeah,
Not the
yeah,
Daily
yeah.
Wire, the
Daily Show.
No,
No.
Daily Wire. Ben Shapiro. It's my guy.
of course it is. You and him, you're fucking like when you look at him and Ben Shapiro. What I see, is
Yeah,
I
Ben,
see,
if you're watching this, and I know that you are, you're one of the hundreds. Get at me if you need a producer.
what I know is that I look at them both and I go, those are two men who can't do push-ups. Yeah, I'm not. I don't trust or believe you because you can't do push-ups.
Chris, you can't do a push-up?
I can do a push-up.
He did 13 and hurt himself and had to ice his back.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Hugo Carmona had COVID and did 15.
Well, you got to stretch before you do strenuous activity.
But this is before we
13
found out that
push-ups.
COVID was just the flu.
Well,
I like how you just say this. See, guys, he needs his own.
this is taking a turn.
Yes, it is. Anyways,
Let's get back to
getting back
talking
to
about
Airbnb collapse.
WCW in 97.
Yes! Cruiserweight division.
But so this is how it happens. So everything falls apart, but in this thing of the ramping up of the mortgage market, Airbnb was also becoming more popular. So you had all these people who bought up homes in places they had no intention of ever living.
Fair.
All around the country. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of properties got scooped up in this wake of I'm going to profiteer off this, and I'm going to use it as a rental, and this is in a picturesque town, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Guess what? The Yellowstone fad wore off. So everyone who's out there in Idaho, Wyoming, wherever, these rural areas with mountains where you can see them,
New York City.
they're
I'm just
getting crushed
Yeah, it's rough.
right now. And here's the problem. If you bought in early, you were 2016, 2017, pre-pandemic. You got an interest rate that was
Also
reasonable.
pre-Biden.
And
Wow, he's really hitting
that's
hard.
what I'm
this one.
saying. Like he can't help himself. He's
Well, he's 4 waters deep and 2 cocktails deep.
I
He's
know.
buzzing.
This is what. Yeah, he's hammered. This guy. You cut him off.
Those
So-
waters aren't regularly filtered, so he's got to be just drunk out of his mind.
Regularly.
You'd have any idea how many natural minerals are in those water bottles? He's on his ass.
Chris hasn't taken a vitamin in 6 years. I can tell.
Do you want to know why I don't take vitamins?
Wait,
I'll-
tell me. You really
here
don't
we
take
go.
vitamins?
Because the Democrats told you that they're because they're good.
No, I will tell you why I don't take vitamins.
But you really don't take. He turned at everything.
Yeah,
Oh, Jesus
I'm
Christ.
telling you why I don't take
He
vitamins.
turned.
When I was 4 or 5,
Okay. Oh, so it goes way back.
yeah, it goes way back. I was like about 4 or 5
Deep seated.
in North Boston.
Wow.
took a whole bottle.
They told him it was a suppositor.
I took a whole bottle of Flintstone vitamins.
Like you ate them?
And I ate them.
I used to think about that all the
I
time.
thought they were
They were delicious.
I had to go get my stomach pumped. And I've never touched.
But why don't you
That's
just...
the funniest
I've
thing
never
heard
touched
about
vitamins.
You told me a lot of stupid
Yeah.
things about yourself.
That's-
That might be
But why don't you just take vitamins at their recommended dose?
Well, as a child,
No, I mean now.
No, as
No.
a child, I thought one bottle meant my.
Right, but now that you
Like,
know
I
not,
could-
you can take a vitamin.
I thought
Never again.
I
They're
thought-
blacklisted.
I thought I could take that whole bottle and be covered for life.
It's so funny because I used to think all the time, like I had Flintstone vitamins, they were fucking delicious. And I used to think like, man, like I want to eat this whole thing, but I can't because they're bad. And I remember always thinking like, oh, like what happens if you eat? And I never just...
You never took it full Monty because you're
I
not
never
dumb?
thought a person
Because
would
you're
do
not
it.
dumb?
I love how he's like, yeah, I don't fucking touch vitamins.
That's why.
Also, fuck the Flintstones.
Well, so here's the thing. You're talking about not thinking people would do things. You didn't think people would spend $300,000 on some of the houses that you guys walked through and said, hey, that's bad. Or, hey, this door barely works. Or, hey, this yard is tiny. I'm not paying $300,000 for this. And then some other dickhead did.
Some other dickhead pays $370 for it, and I'm like, that's not even. It wasn't even worth the listing.
I would. You're like, I wouldn't have paid the agent to fill out the paperwork.
No, it's just yeah, yeah, it's just it's just wild how it's developed and still there. And that's why I find like this Airbnb piece very interesting, as it all, to your point, like connects to the bigger picture.
I sent him a thing and I go, in the words of Winston Churchill,
Yeah.
never waste a good crisis.
I never thought a DM from you in the middle of a Thursday would be about the Airbnb market and contain a Winston Churchill quote. I just stared at it for a good like 3 minutes and then went into the thread. And I was like, where am I? Like, what is this?
Listen, still waters run deep over here.
Wow, well done.
My thing is this. I look at this and I say to myself, okay, so you're creating another housing bubble. And there's a lot of people who will tell you that's a bad thing. But is it? You represent the side of the people who are boxed out currently of the housing market.
I'm a man of the people.
Not boxed out, but boxed out in the sense that the inventory and the way things are aligning and the costs.
You're either forced to overextend yourself and then end up potentially paying for it in the long run or potentially the short run, or you're forced to continue to stay on the outside and hope that things eventually turn in your favor at some point.
So when there's a bubble right in your face going, hey, I'm about to burst, you're like, please.
I'll poke that, but give me the bubble, I'll poke the shit out of it.
And then here comes guys like Chris who go, wow, this is bad for the economy. Who gives a fuck about the economy? It's you get in.
Democrats don't give a fuck about the economy.
Jesus Christ. See,
he's
look
really
at-
going. I'm not a politics guy, so
No,
but just man,
you'll never engage me about that.
Flintstone vitamins and then the anti-democrat agenda is very interesting. I was not expecting this.
Maybe they shouldn't have pumped his stomach.
Wow, we got dark again. Arson.
All I know is that it's interesting watching this Airbnb bubble because there's a lot of people who got in late who are in trouble now.
Yes.
Because there is think about how much they're charging. They charge a cleaning fee.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't charge me a cleaning fee is the Hilton.
The Democrats.
The Democrats. If I go to the Hilton and I get a hotel room, I don't get charged a fee to also have to clean up after myself. That's
point.
involved in my stay.
Fair point.
And that was cool when Airbnb started because it was like, hey, listen, $200 a night, you could rent a room in my house. Or for $500 a night, you could rent this whole house.
Yeah.
Now it's $500 a night, but also there's like $100 in fees, and there's also a cleaning fee of $195, which subsidizes my housekeeper.
And they probably got cameras everywhere, and they're watching you.
Oh, and they're watching me. Like, first of all, you watch me in the shower. Good luck. I'm shaving my back in your Airbnb.
I'm an exhibitionist. I'm cool with it.
Nah, I don't.
You know what
fuck.
Jessica
I'm
and I are
shameless.
doing next week?
Hanging out in Airbnb with
pottery.
No, we're not. Thursday morning, we are leaving for a comedy road trip. We're going to
Make jokes.
Virginia, to Connecticut, to
The moon.
Chester, New York.
What?
And we're not staying at Airbnbs. We're staying at hotels.
I've never stayed in an Airbnb.
Me either.
Never.
Same.
And this
Creep
is
me
the
out.
thing. I'm happy to hear this.
Just
We
afraid
went
of
around the
getting-
room.
getting murdered.
We've never stayed in an Airbnb, and the problem is, I mean, I moonlighted at one during the day with your friends from Cover One.
Oh,
for
yeah,
training
yeah,
camp.
last year, yeah.
And they were like, you should stay. I go, no, I'm not
Oh,
staying.
I lied. No, I did stay at an Airbnb for the draft this year in Mobile.
Yeah,
with
there it
number one.
is.
That's the only one ever.
There it is.
That's the only one.
And that's how they get you. They go, listen, it's convenient. We're near all the things.
I'm on the wagon.
Here's what I know. It's one of the murder and arson. That's it. Here's what I'll say. I think that you look at what's happening now out there and you say this was greed and this was people trying to capitalize on what they thought they understood. Mm-hmm. What they didn't realize was that the business model would get away from you. And you have a lot of hacks who went out there and bought homes thinking, I can be an Airbnb. Like, that's going to be
and people
my...
see the TikToks and the Instagram videos, and it's like, oh, man, I need to buy an Airbnb.
I'm going to get one, and I'm going to make secondary income, and this is going to be amazing.
Look at all this passive income I'm generating.
Chris,
Yeah.
that doesn't take into account interest rates, does it?
Or Democrats.
Jesus Christ.
I have a question for Chris.
Yeah.
Did you put all the vitamins in your mouth at once, or was this like a gradual, like handful by handful or 2 by 2 situation, or did you just crack the top and you just, suck?
No, I didn't
back?
go Drew on a beer can and just dump it in.
Oh, no, I would just
So you
take
didn't-
those
you
in the
didn't
face.
shotgun
I
it.
savored each and every one of them.
So you ate them individually?
Yeah, I went.
So you were just sitting on
just
the couch
dropped them-
acting like you were
yeah.
eating gummy worms or something, just popping them one by one.
Not a couch. I was underneath the kitchen table.
Wow. slowly poisoning yourself and
Which
ODing.
of you had ever seen pictures of Chris when he was young? He had the worst bowl haircut. Like he looked like the Beatles' ugly cousin.
So Ringo.
Oh no, it's Ringo.
Yeah.
Why does Ringo always catch strays? John Lennon was much uglier than Ringo.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, it's debatable.
But the talent makes him so much more handsome.
This is fair. All right, so guys,
He doesn't
here's
need
what I
to
know.
put some vitamins.
Airbnb is a fucking disaster, and I love it for people like him.
Thank you.
For people like my friend here, Anthony, who are trying to get into the housing market, all you dickheads who bought these things thinking you were going to make money, oh, are you about to catch it? Because you overstepped. And now these things cost as much as stays at premier hotels. I'll just go to a hotel. You know why? Because they tell me what I owe and they give me free breakfast. You yell at me if I leave dishes in the sink. Sorry, you can go fuck yourselves. Chris, if I go to a hotel, pros and cons, I go to a hotel, I strip naked and walk around the room, I know I'm not being recorded. And I know that if I am, that person's
Depends
gouging
if you stayed a Days Inn in Worcester. Wow.
that person is gouging their eyes out as we speak. If I stay at an Airbnb, I have no control over what you do, and you get to dictate all of these facets of my stay, plus you charge me a fucking mint. No, I'm happy to see this thing fall apart.
It's fascism is what it is.
I'm happy to see it fall apart. And I hope that when the bubble bursts, these houses hit the market, it does create a housing crisis and drive the interest rates back down that will allow people like you back into the market.
It's 1-1 for the good guys.
I love it.
I appreciate you.
Chris, we hate you. Your fucking political rhetoric. I love this guy.
All right,
hate
cool.
you.
We're done here? After dark? All done.